Hello, my name is Robin Munson, and I am a librarian at the Spencer Public Library. On March 28th, in 2022, we had a grant-funded community conversation based on the book Broken America, Seeing, Understanding, and Ending U.S. Poverty by Joanne Samuel Goldblum and Colleen Shaddox. The grant was from the American Library Association and was Libraries Transforming Communities 3, a continuation of the Libraries Transforming Communities grant the library received to start a small food pantry in our lobby. The community conversation involved many residents who all read the book and were able to comment and ask questions as we went along. This recording will not have that benefit, but it will still have the information and statistics regarding our community of Spencer, Iowa. It is so easy to read a book and say, that is them. We are doing fine here in our community. I wanted to put together a presentation to show that many people in our own community are struggling. So, basic statistics. These statistics are from 2020. You will see that the national poverty level is $21,720, or that's the equivalent of getting paid $10.44 per hour. Spencer's median income is $29,129, or the equivalent of $14 per hour. As you can see, our median income is not that far from the poverty level, and male workers and their pay will bring that median income up. The male workers generally have more job opportunities in our area, and the pay that come with a higher pay than what most women get. Things such as plumbing, construction, electrical workers tend to be more male in our community, and they tend to get paid more than the standard female jobs in our community. I wanted to take a look at what it takes to be self-sufficient in our own community, but we did not have those statistics for Iowa or even for Spencer, Iowa. I looked at Jackson, Minnesota, which has a similar population to Spencer and is close to the Minnesota border as we are too in northwest Iowa. IKEA sponsored this Minnesota program, and it was a study that was done by the Center for Women's Welfare Self-Sufficiency Standard, where every town in Minnesota with every household type and scenario that you could think of was calculated. So I followed a family of 3. A single mom, a toddler, and a preschooler from Jackson, Minnesota. You can see that the cost of items on the left, and then the amount of money it would take for this family to be self-sufficient, meaning receiving no help or aid from anywhere. She would need $23.97 per hour, or a salary of $50,000, $635. As you see with our median income, the majority of people do not come close to this in our community. Single mothers are really struggling in Spencer, Iowa, with a poverty rate of 68% and only 16.3% of people in general receiving aid. A lot of people are struggling, making hard decisions every month on what to and what not to pay for, and deciding not to get help because of stigma or confusion or all the paperwork that has to be done to get aid. As you can see, childcare is very, very expensive. So what can we do? The next slides gives us suggestions based on the book on how our community can do better. All right, we're going to start with water. Spencer has Spencer Municipal Utilities with a board appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the city council. According to the book, having it this way does give the people a little more say in how their utilities are handled than if it were a strict business model. And according to the book, this is considered good for Spencer to have more say in your utilities. Things you can do to advocate for water, for people. You can advocate for a water affordability plan based on income, which would help diminish water being turned off in some residents. Places that provide assistance, such as UDMO, Clay County General Relief, Division of Community Action Agency, Iowa Department of Human Rights. So if someone is having an issue or a problem, you can send them to those areas. You can also check for lead in your home or apartment. SMU has had good quality reports since 2014. At that time, in 2014, they had 2 violations and they fixed those. I was a little concerned when I found out that there are no maps of lead pipes in Spencer or all in Iowa. They really don't know. They've never mapped it out. And so that's kind of concerning. We don't know how our water is getting into us and what it is being carried into us in, what types of pipes. Iowa has, along with 23 other states, has not done a survey of their lead pipes. You can test your home, but also talk to the school board about testing the school buildings, what's coming in there, and making sure that there isn't any lead in the pipes and the water coming into school. According to a study done, just kind of, since we don't have a map or anything, but just looking at what is known and extrapolating from that, Iowa is the 6th worst in the nation with lead pipes. So we have a lot of them in the ground. And so we just have to make sure that what we're drinking, what's coming out of our faucets and stuff, is safe to drink. Okay, let's look at food. Clay County has 15.4% food insecure children, and 33% of those do not qualify for federal nutritional programs. What we mean by that is food insecure is different than the poverty level. As we saw before, the poverty level is listed really kind of low compared to what you need for self-sufficiency to pay for the actual things within your world. So although 15.4% of them are food insecure, meaning hungry, not knowing if they're getting nutritional meals or where their next meal is coming from. They may get a breakfast, but they can't have a dinner or something like that. 33% of those types of children do not qualify for any nutritional aid programs. So people are hungry. 48% of Spencer Community School students are on free and reduced lunch. During COVID, Spencer schools gave free lunches to all students, but that will not happen in the 2022 to 2023 school year. The school has provided free lunches to students in the summer. When looking to cut money, the government always cuts social programs. So things that you can do to help out is show the government that you support SNAP and WIC and the school nutrition program. Raising wages, of course, as we saw before, to provide self-sufficiency for people would definitely help, would go a long way. Donate food, money, or time at organizations like Grand Avenue Community Kitchen and their outreach center, UDMO, Spencer Mobile Food Pantry, Spencer Community Schools Food Pantry, Seasons Center for Behavioral Health, Elder Bridge, the Way Station, Hope Lutheran Church in Everly, and Spencer Public Library's Little Free Pantry. So housing. Housing is a huge problem in our community. If you are able to get a low-income home or apartment, then the average cost for a 2-bedroom apartment is around $533. The average cost without aid for a 2-bedroom apartment in Spencer is $768. So if you can get that low income, you're saving over $230 per month, which can be a big help, which can go to daycare and other things like that. Section 8 housing will be about 30 to 40% of your income. They'll cap it at that and not go any higher than that. The workers that they have are employees that are working for Section 8. They only have 6 employees to cover 14 counties. We have 323 low-income apartments in our area, and there are 1,230 people in poverty. And remember, a family of 3 in poverty is $21,000. And all those people above that are still struggling. What they have done here for the low-income housing is that many other people qualify for that, so they've raised that up. And so a family of 3 to get low-income housing would need to make less than $54,660. That would be a good portion. A lot of people in our community would qualify for low-income housing. Now, when I say the poverty level, which is really low, remember that. We have 559 adults in poverty. And I understand that some of these will be living together and paired, so it's not like we need that many apartments. But like I said before, since the income level is raised so high, there's going to be a lot of people in our community wanting these apartments, and with only 323 low-income apartments, it's just not adequate enough to house the amount of people that could qualify for that. The numbers do not work out. We don't have enough Section 8 housing for all the need that we have. What can we do about this? Maybe make sure that we are zoning for affordable housing, for low-income housing. The stuff that I see going up now is not necessarily that. We're not getting more of that, and that's what we really, really need. And also get elected to the Spencer Planning and Zoning Commission if you're really passionate about this subject. Support a living wage. People can afford more if they make more. That's just the bottom line. Fight for subsidized housing through HUD. Support tenant unions. Tenants have zero rights due to the housing shortage. If they complain, they can be kicked out of the apartment that they do have, even though might not be a very good apartment. One group, the housing tenant union to check out, is the Minnesota Tenant Group Home Line, and what they do is they have lawyers for free that will support tenants with any issues that they may have towards their landlords. So that leads us to power. Losing heat in the winter is no laughing matter, yet many residents can't afford to pay their bills. What can you do about this type of thing? Again, ask for rates linked to people's income level. We have the Iowa Utilities Board, which is for Black Hills Energy, and they do gas, and the Spencer Utilities Board and trustees, and they're for the Spencer Municipal Utilities, and they do the electrical power. Ask for increases in programs like LIHEAP. Also, advocate for automatic enrollment into the different social programs. As I said before at the beginning of this, there's so much for paperwork, and every single piece of aid that you can get, you have to apply for. A lot of times with the same materials, but you have to go from one place to the other applying for these things. It would make it so much easier if it was all linked together, and you put in all of the paperwork that you need, and it just links you in and automatically enrolls you in those programs that you qualify for. If they qualify for one, they probably qualify for others. And so it'd just be easier if they're enrolled automatically. Try to get people assistance before they become delinquent on their bills. We will know just by their income, what they make, what they're going to be struggling with. So this is something to help with. If things were based on people's incomes, then this would definitely work with that. If people were automatically enrolled for aid, this would definitely work with that also. Work to get buildings and tell landlords the importance of energy ratings. So if people were renting, living in buildings that were more energy efficient, it would be saving them money. So that leads us to transportation. Spencer does have the Rides Bus system, which has limited time drop-off and pickups at Spencer Public Library, Walmart, and North Mall. You can also make an appointment for pickup and drop-off times wherever in town with at least, you have to give them 24-hour notice, though. Rides is expensive with a fee of $4 one way, so you could be paying $8 to get your groceries. There are discounts for seniors. So what can you do? When you are going to work or going about your day, think to yourself, how will this work without a car? So trying to understand what a struggle it is for people that don't have a car, that can't pay for their car insurance or gas or what have you, and how much of it is a struggle just to get around town and to do the things that we take advantage of. If you have clients without transportation that are coming to see you, have a checklist with everything they're going to need to bring to you before their appointment comes, so that they don't have to keep coming back and taking more trips to your office and spending more money on that, or trying to figure out a way to get there in the first place. Ask businesses how employees get to work. How do they get to their job? We've got Walmart, which is pretty far out there. We've got other factories and things that aren't around basic stuff downtown. Will employers help pay for ride passes for their employees that are struggling? Could that be a benefit that they give their employees? RSVP used to provide rides to medical appointments, to hospitals in Sioux City or Sioux Falls for people that couldn't afford or didn't have a ride there. They no longer do that due to insurance and other liabilities. Medicare does provide a ride on health-based appointments, so it depends on what issues you have. They then could provide a ride for you to get to your appointments, but that's not based on income. So if someone doesn't have a car, they're not included in this. Those with medical appointments will have to get rides from family or friends, or spend the money on a rides bus fare. So basic hygiene, which also would include health too. If you're more hygienic, you're going to have better health in certain areas. But Iowa has a 6% to 7% sales tax on diapers and feminine hygiene products. Other states do not. They have decided to forego the sales tax on these types of things that people need to get by. And one thing that we can do is to advocate to eliminate sales tax on these items. We can also support a basic needs bank by giving money, or having your church or an organization or setting up a diaper drive, where there are organizations in town that do provide diapers to people that need them. And if you do something like a diaper or feminine hygiene product drive or something like that, and then donate it to those organizations. So UDMO distributes diapers and other hygiene supplies. CASA distributes these supplies to their clients. And there may be others too. I think most of the food banks around town would probably take this stuff if you need to. Advocate for free hygiene in public buildings, feminine products in public buildings. Advocate for public toilets and washrooms. So we have porta potties in parks in our town, and then the library has public restrooms with a toilet and a sink where anyone can come in and use them. Otherwise, I don't think there is anything else in town, and we don't have any public showers in town either. You can also, one idea that came from the book was to support a wash day. Maybe your local church could do that, where you take over a laundromat and you pay for people's laundry. So for a day you take it over and it's free wash day. People can come in and wash their clothes free for a day. So health. Invest time and money into health over health care. If people are not getting proper food, clean water, housing that isn't mold-free, they will be sick children and even sicker adults. So that's why we say health over health care at this point. Invest time and money into the things we have just been talking about and prioritize the children because, again, sick children become even sicker adults. Advocate for the safety net funding that we talked about before, WIC and SNAP and school lunches. Get involved at the Spencer Community Schools. They have a food pantry. They may not need volunteers, but they would probably go for money or for donations of food. This pantry is for the children and families in the school district. So the sickest Americans get the least sick days. Fight for sick time for all employees, regardless of full or part-time status, because a sick event, either of the adult that is working or of a family member or their child, means that they have to stay home, and they could be staying home for weeks, especially as we saw with COVID, that could happen. Staying home for weeks without sick pay or sick time means no paycheck. This means that they even go further and further into not being able to pay their bills and into poverty. Find out what the sick time policies are for the places you spend money at and see if at some point or somehow we can get those changed. So you can see that poverty affects all aspects of a person's life. We didn't even tackle childcare, the biggest expense most families face. But if we were to advocate in one other area, then that will free up money to go to different areas. So if we were to help with food, then maybe they can spend more on their childcare. If we were to help with housing, then maybe they would have more money freed up for childcare and food. Either way, I truly hope that you do read this book to get more out of this presentation. We do have it at the library, so you can check it out there. And also I hope that you do stuff for your community, make it healthier and stronger. Thank you.